So about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks later on this one, I've been talking a while about doing a top 10 Disney movies to watch on Disney Plus, and I keep putting it off for some stupid reason. And since we're now on 3/4 days a week, depending on what week it's gonna be, um, figured I'd do it. Wrote out my list. So let's get started. Coming in at number 10 is going to be a movie called GForce. If you don't know what GForce is, it's basically, to sum it up within a sentence, James Bond meets guinea pigs and gerbils and hamsters. Yes, apparently there's a difference. I know there's a difference between guinea pigs. I meant difference between gerbils and hamsters. I don't really see the difference, but I'm not a huge animal person. I mainly stick to cats and a dog. So they're on a little spy mission, and it's quite a fun movie. Not a lot of people care about it. I kind of care about it. I think it's a very entertaining movie. I absolutely love it. One aspect I don't care about is the CG. It looks bad, but you're bringing I'm not gonna say animatronic or anamorphic. You're making animals who can't speak. It's like watching Bill Murray's Garfield from a few 10 years ago. So the CG looks kind of stupid and the gadgets are silly, but it is in the end a kids movie, and yeah, I believe it's from 2010. I wish I had written this down. From 2009. I was close. And it's got, oh boy, it's got a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. That makes sense, given that it's kind of a goofball film. So I also mentioned that I was going to throw in at least something for every aspect of the Disney multiverse, multi-platform, whatever. The only thing there's no Disney Plus originals on here. I haven't actually had time to watch any besides The Mandalorian and Clone Wars Season 7. Other than that, none of the Disney Plus originals are going to be on this list. So coming in at number 9 is going to be a 2009 Disney Channel original called Hatching Pete. Hatching Pete is the story of two young high schoolers. Mitchell Musso's character, I want to say it's Mitchell Musso. Oh yeah, Mitchell Musso's character Cletus. He's the school mascot, and he's upholding a tradition of years and years of being the mascot of the school. But he is nothing compared to what his father did or his grandfather did. You know, he doesn't have all the skills and everything. Cut to Pete Ivy, played by Jason Dolly, who has the skills, and they're good friends. Pete jumps into the costume one day and performs, and the whole school goes wild, leading to antics of the chicken suit, running away, disappearing for a while, reappearing, then disappearing again, all while Brian Stepanek, who plays Coach Mackey, but you may also know him as the goofy mechanic Arwen from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. In that, he's the basketball coach, and he hates the chicken because the chicken messes with him a lot. It's just a great movie all around. Probably one of the best Disney Channel originals. Please don't ask me to rate any Disney Channel original films. I am not a huge Disney Channel original person, but I do remember watching this on Netflix when they released it on there. And then the other night, this was like 2-3 weeks ago now, I saw it on Disney Plus, and I was like, oh, I remember watching this. So I watched it, and it's just as goofy as I remembered. Great movie. Coming in at number 9 right there. Number 8, we have a classic, Tron from 1982. Very confusing story. I'm not going to bother trying to get into it too much. I also haven't watched it in several years. However, you can't deny the impact that this has had on the sci-fi genre as a whole. First off, the computer graphics that they use are pretty much, I've heard the phrase ahead of its time. Yeah, you know what? I can give it that. Um, and Kevin Flynn, who's played by Jeff Bridges, is a computer engineer. And he finds out his friend Ed has been stealing his work, so obviously they're no longer friends anymore. Yada yada yada. And it's all based on a video game that Kevin Flynn's character, or Jeff Bridges' character, Kevin Flynn, was designing. Cut to 2000, I want to say it was 2012. Oh no, 2010. Wow. I am off on these dates. Tron Legacy came out as the sequel. Yep, 2010. Look at that. To this film, I keep saying Kevin Flynn. Jeff Bridges comes back and reprises his role, and his son's trying to find him. Great film. This little sci-fi action film from 1982. Highly recommended if you haven't watched. If you're looking for a weird sci-fi movie to watch, this is it. Forget Star Wars, forget Planet of the Apes. This is one weird sci-fi movie I recommend. And honestly, I know a lot of people don't. I do recommend you go watch Tron Legacy just to complete both series. There was a show on Disney XD for a while, but I don't know. It's on my list of things to watch, and I just have not gotten to it yet. I plan to, but I haven't. Next up on our list is coming in at number 7. We've got Freaky Friday from 2003. I think this might have actually been no. Huh, I thought it was a Disney Channel original, but I guess not. Stars Lindsay Lohan as Anna and Jamie Lee Curtis. If you know anything about me, favorite movie, Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis got her first acting role in Halloween. And here she is in a Disney Channel goofy movie here. But Jamie Lee Curtis plays Anna's mom, Tess. There's obviously issues between the two. If you don't know the formula, it's mother and daughter argue and then make a wish that pretty much the wish is I hate you, or I wish you weren't around, or some stupid thing like that. And then they switch bodies overnight. So it's kind of interesting watching Jamie Lee Curtis pretend to be like a 16-year-old Lindsay Lohan at the time. And it's actually based on a movie from 1976, although this is weird. The IMDb credit for 1976's Freaky Friday lists Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Jamie Lee Curtis I could see. Oh, there we go. Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. That's better. They fixed their mistake once you actually click on it. So, kind of another wild, weird Disney movie, but it's still fun nonetheless. Next up is number 6. We have the Aristocats. Okay. I gotta be honest. As far as the whole Disney animated stuff goes, I wasn't going to put things like The Lion King or Aladdin or Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, stuff like that. Anything I already covered, I wasn't going to put on there. You weren't going to see Frozen, you weren't going to see Pixar movies. Those are all very popular. When you've got movies like Oliver and Company, Black Cauldron, Aristocats, those kind of came out in what's considered the dark ages of Disney. Kind of that 1970 to 1989 era. And the Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, Pinocchio, stuff like that wasn't going to be included either. Those are all classics. I know a lot of people talk about the Aristocats. The actual term is aristocrat, but I keep wanting to say that. It's not. It's Aristocats. I don't hear too many people talking about this, and certainly 2-3 other films that are Disney animated that we're going to talk about. I don't hear anyone ever talk about. So, the Aristocats is about four young cats, Duchess and her brothers, or Duchess, not her brothers, her children. I always think the little itty bitty white cat is Duchess. It's not. It's Marie. I'm stupid. Anywho, they are taken away by their butler and put in a box in the middle of a river. He wasn't trying to put them in a river. He had a bump and they bump off. Not important though. They find Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat, and he's one of the best characters. He's voiced by Phil Harris, who, if you don't know him by name, you would know him by voice. Why? He voices Baloo. I can pull up his whole thing, but I know he voices Baloo. He voices... I already forgot. I can picture him in my mind. Little John, there we go. From Robin Hood. If you don't remember what Baloo is from Jungle Book. So you would recognize his voice if you heard it. It's a whole story about Duchess and Thomas trying to return her kittens to their rightful owner, this little old lady who was kind of upset that they're gone. It's a good movie, not the best, but it's one of those, if you're watching Disney movies, you should see it anyway. We're gonna move on though to one of my personal favorites, Inspector Gadget, coming in here at number 5. So, well, I don't want the TV show, I want the movie. Oh, there we go, Inspector Gadget. So, the original film was released in 1999, starring Matthew Broderick, who, if you don't know who he is, just watch Ferris Bueller, you'll know who he is very quickly. Matthew Broderick was later replaced by French Stewart. Honestly, the films go down in quality at that point. Inspector Gadget kind of follows the idea of the show in that there's this mysterious villain named Dr. Claw who is, trying to take over the world, and then Inspector Gadget gets into an accident and has to be... The idea of it is genetically remodified, but it comes off as mechanically remodified with all these weird gadgets and all this stuff. It's a good movie. I will give it that the CG looks totally outdated. But Matthew Broderick is just so great in the role as he is in everything else. Not that French Stewart replacing him in the second film is bad. But I think he could have done maybe a little better. But still, I highly recommend this one. And you're probably going to hear that a lot if you haven't already heard it a lot. This is one of those goofy live-action Disney movies that not a lot of people talk about, and it just deserves more credit. I mean, not for nothing. It has, let's see if I can pull up its Rotten Tomatoes score. I just have an issue finding them on IMDb. Yeah, see, it's not even like showing up. Here we go. How about I just click on Rotten Tomatoes? Or its wiki, maybe. What the heck? It can't be too high, but it can't be too low. That's kind of how I look at it at this point. Oh, geez, I think I just found it. Oh, ooh. Yikes, it's a lot lower than I expected. Okay, well, it's got a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's low. Next up, one I think I've talked about before, and a lot of people were kind of like, what is this Disney movie he's talking about? I'm talking about The Great Mouse Detective. If you don't know, it stars, well, you probably wouldn't even recognize the name, Barry Ingham as Basil of Baker Street, who is a detective trying to help out little Olivia, who is trying to find her father, who's been kidnapped by Professor Radigan, voiced by Vincent Price. if you've never seen The Great Mouse Detective, I do recommend it. It's one of those Dark Ages films that this movie actually kind of rescued the Disney Dark Ages from, or really Disney itself, from being destroyed. So it did a lot for the franchise of Disney and the studio. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Next up, so that's at number 4. Number 3, I do have the DVD for the Black Cauldron. This is one a lot of people are like, what the hell is the Black Cauldron? Personally don't know. It came out the year before The Great Mouse Detective, and while its animation is good, this movie did so poorly that it really shot Disney down into a nosedive. If you want to see what a lot of people consider the lowest point of Disney, this is it. Probably the weirdest and creepiest villain, though. It's called the Horned King. He's voiced by John Hurt. But Taran, who is voiced by Grant Barsley, is charged to rescue Princess. I don't even really know how to say it. Elonwy. I'm not even bothered. It's spelled Eilonwy. But it is probably one of the most entertaining creatures ever cooked up by Disney in the name of Creeper. He's such a weird little hench thing, and yeah, just so strange, so weird, so creepy, but funny at the same time. Next up, at number 2, we have the 1989 Rick Moranis classic, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I've not watched this in several years, but I'm always down to watch a Rick Moranis film. Spaceballs, Ghostbusters, love him. He's so weird, so funny, and I really think he does. I know he's not really present anymore. He retired early to take care of his family, which gotta give him credit for. So basically, the title is the description. He's an inventor. He creates a shrinking ray. Shrunk the kids. I think I love Rick Moranis, but I really think this would be an entertaining role for Robin Williams to take on. It has a nice score too, a 76%, which is pretty good. I'll give him that. A Joe Johnston film too, so he's one of those. He's one of those great filmmakers. If you haven't watched any of his films, I can tell you, you've probably seen, without realizing it, the original Jumanji, The Rocketeer, the so-so Jurassic Park 3. Oh, and did I mention Captain America: The First Avenger? No, I didn't, because I wanted it to be a shock. But yeah, no, he's one of those directors, so yeah, Captain America: The First Avenger, while it's not everyone's favorite, it's still really good, thanks to him. That's why this movie is the way it is. There's a TV show? Well, we don't got time for that. Also, story written by Brian Usna, who, for all you horror fans, Brian Usna is the guy behind Reanimator, or Society. Stuart Gordon, I recognize that name too from the horror franchise as well. Or horror series. Let's go to filmography. Oh yeah, he was behind Reanimator too. And Dolls. What else? Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, which was a not good sequel to that. Okay. And again, there was a TV show for this? Now I gotta look into it. It wasn't even animated, was it? It ran for 3 seasons. What? Okay. Peter Scolari. That's nice. Yeah, we'll look into that later. So, for an honorable mention, I kind of had a really tough time figuring out what I wanted to do for my honorable mention. I settled on a Tim Burton film. You might be wondering why. Tim Burton is one of those Disney directors who is more known for his creepy, kooky, weird, whatever. Um, but he did, he did the Alice in Wonderland live action films, which I'm not a fan of. But he did do A Nightmare Before Christmas, which I'm so on. This movie, though, is called Frankenweenie. Frankenweenie is simply Frankenstein, but a dog. A boy who loses his dog in a car accident, if I remember correctly, and he brings him back to life. It's an adorable movie shot in black and white, a claymation film, and it serves kind of as a weird bridge. A very weird bridge between where what's known as the Tim Burton verse, which basically takes Frankenweenie, which is about I'm gonna try and find his name. Victor Frankenstein. Interesting. Oh, there's a lot of actors in here I didn't realize. Winona Ryder's in it as Elsa Van Helsing. I don't really know much about Charlie Tahan. Atticus Schaefer, who you probably know as Brick from The Middle, plays Edgar, and Martin Short's also in this. That's pretty neat. But Victor and his dog Frankenweenie, which we're just going to call him Frankenweenie because I'm not looking up the name, is like here. And then the Corpse Bride is the middle point. So now Victor's older, changed his name for some reason, and then gets married. And then there's A Nightmare Before Christmas, or The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't really know. I don't really care. I don't really care for the movie, to be perfectly honest with you. Is here. Jack and Sally. They seem to think that Victor, whatever his name is from the Corpse Bride, and watched it in several years, and Jack are somehow the same character, which means the dog in both films are the same. So Frankenweenie, whatever the dog's name is in Corpse Bride, and then Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas are all the same. They're not. I don't really believe in that. Not to get theoretical here, but we're not going to. But it's from 2012. It's also apparently based on a movie, another Disney movie from the 80s. And finally, coming in at number 1 is a film I hype so much, Oliver and Company. If you don't know what Oliver and Company is, it came out in 1988. Its music is Billy Joel music. And in fact, Billy Joel plays one of the dogs, and Joey Lawrence voices Oliver. It's just a really good movie. Another one of those trying to get somebody back home to where they belong, as Oliver tries to help this little girl get home and away from a mobster, which is insane. And there's also a homeless guy that all the dogs live with. It's a crazy, weird movie. It's based on Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Did I just say Dixon? Dickens. Oh my god. What is wrong with me? It has a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. I get that. I actually kind of understand that. And it didn't do too poorly. It had a $31 million budget. Made about $121 million, so it didn't do poorly. This was right when Disney was starting to redeem itself after The Great Mouse Detective. So there you have it. I can finally throw out a piece of paper in a fastly done, talking for 24 minutes straight video about the top 10 movies you should watch on Disney+. Go watch them for yourselves. Tell me what you think about them. I really enjoy these movies. There's not one that I can say is worse than any of the other. If you skipped any, I'd probably say maybe GForce, but it's one of those wacky live-action CG movies that's like before the Marvel movies really started to get big and change that, and like way before Star Wars came back. So go ahead and give that a watch anyway. I am going to do a top 10 Disney movie video. This one is more your mainstream movies, so you can look forward to that eventually. Now that I have open days and can actually post videos if I want to, when I want to, it'll be nice. So, until actually tomorrow with X-Men 2, I'm Luke and I'll see you guys later. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed what you just watched. If you're interested in more of my videos, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notifications every time I upload a video. And also, if you could, just leave a like down below and maybe even consider commenting, telling me things I did good, things I did bad.